Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you, everybody? Brother Abdul, Brother Madiba, Rian, Barik, and others?
Fine, sir. How about you?
Yeah, we are fine. We are fine. Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Okay, wait a while, please. Okay, thank you very much for your precious time with us today. I wish everybody in the best of health, yeah, in the midst of severe pandemic today. Yeah, I want to greet Brother Madiba from Gambia, yeah, that now still staying in the country, Brother Abdo, yeah, and other friends that still staying in respective cities and provinces, yeah, across Indonesia. So, dear sisters and brothers, time goes very fast. We have been in the seventh meeting right now, and if you look at from the course outline provided in my class, we have been almost reaching the middle of semester. Yeah. Hopefully, you are still in the very great spirit, high spirit in completing this course. And if you try to consistently join this class, hopefully in the end of the course, you'll get some benefits, yeah, and some extended knowledge, yeah, that maybe can enhance your capacity, your ability, and your understandings. And now, by the way, sisters and dear brothers, we try to continue our discussions on the next discussions, and I have uploaded the material into my class, so you can just take it through your own, and we will focus on the first part, since first slide until 33 slides for the first part. The second part will be continued next week. Okay, let me start from the first one. So here we are going to discuss on saving, investment, and the financial system. Yeah. So these three items seems to be very important in today's conditions, whereby the rate of saving, the rate of investment, and the stability of financial system would influence to what extent the stability of the economy would exist, to what extent the crisis could be prevented, and to what extent the level of living among people inside or outside Indonesia will be preserved. Yeah. Let me just continue. What this chapter actually wanted to provide. The first, we try to discuss why should we care about a country's level of saving and investment. This is the big issue. Yeah. The second one, what is a nation financial system? What is financial system? And what does it do, and why does it matter? And the third one, why are the levels of saving and investment high at some times or for some countries and low at other times or for other countries? And what can the government do to change the nation's saving and investment levels? And what should the government do in this regard? Yeah. So those five issues would be discussed, but now this week we focus only on first until the third issues. The fourth and fifth issue will be continued next week. Okay, let me start, and time goes by. You can asking, if you have some inquiries. The first one, you see, sisters and brothers, you not need to look at the country scope, to measure to what extent the saving investment are needed, are important. You can simply look at yourself as an individual human being, as personal human being. So what would happen if you, as personal human being or individual, does not have enough money to be saved and not enough money to be invested? I do sure that you will be stranded. Maybe you will be in the situation whereby you cannot do anything because you don't have enough capability, you don't have enough financial resources, in order to extend and expand your activities. So therefore, the investment basically connected with the standard of living, and looking at the productivity as the source on how to connect between saving and investment. You see, sisters and brothers, in a country, whereby the productivity is high, they have enough financial capitals, such as Singapore, Japan, China, they have huge money available because they have huge productivity. They conducting a lot of trading activities and they get a huge profit from that trading, and the profit is being saved in their saving account, either banking or other financial institution across the globe. So this saved money, eventually will be used by a country to encourage and promote the financial services, financial productions, productions and financial activities. So this saving actually is the source of activity, the source of energy to every country or individual how to generate the other income through investment. Therefore, the productivity depends on the availability of physical capitals, you see, human capital, natural resources, and technology. But those things that I mentioned just now, physical capital and others, will be only provided if the country is able to provide those things. If you have huge number of capital, you can purchase so many products and services. So this activity could encourage more your productivity. And that one, improvement in our standard living, simply economic growth requires increases in availability of those above resources. So those above resources would be available if a country has enough financial capital so that those factors can be provided, and in turn requires saving and investment, you see. So from this first slide, you can imagine that the productivity is needed because it will influence the standard of living. But productivity requires the availability of physical capital, human resources, natural resources, and technology. And those factors would be only available, if there is the assistance of saving and investment. Saving is the source of energy, the source of fund, and investment is the way on how they use the saving to more generating profit, and then ultimately will make the improvement in particular countries. You see the connection now. So on this regard, the country that has huge saving, obviously they will have more capability to improve more the standard of living through investment and productivity. Any questions so far, sisters and brothers? Okay, next one. In an early chapter, if you remember, in chapter 5, investment is defined as the use or the purchase of goods, the purchase of goods and services that can be used to produce another good and services. Yeah. So if you have invested, it means that you purchase a good and services that in order to produce another good and services. Yeah. So the spending by businesses on equipment, structures, software, and household, they are considered as investment resources, because those things can be used to produce another good and services. And saving here is part of income. Yeah, the part of income that is not spent on consumption. So saving is residual of the consumptions. This unspent income is used to buy financial assets such as bank deposits, stock, and bonds. So from here, sisters and brothers, you can imagine the connections. So investment is the activity to purchase goods and services to produce another goods. And saving here is the unspent consumption, unspent income. It means that the residual of consumptions. So then what happens now if a country doesn't have enough jobs, doesn't have enough policy to support the standard of living of the citizens? Surely the country may not be able to encourage the citizen to have more saving, because the income of the citizen is very low. Therefore, if a country that has a huge income, they will have possibility to have high saving. And this high saving is a part and parcel that will be used as the engine to generate investment. Because investment is coming from saving. Maybe you have a question then. How, sir, if a country doesn't have enough saving? The answer is the country will conduct huge numbers of debt. So the debt actually happens, dear sisters and brothers, because this country is not able to generate saving much among citizens. So this country doesn't have enough capital to generate investment. So the way out of this situation is by borrowing from overseas. Yeah. So if a country can provide the number of saving, so the country can use this saving to finance the investment. You see now the core problem. Okay, any other questions or you have any feedback, please, sisters and brothers, before I continue? Okay, I can continue. Okay, we move to the financial systems. Yeah, financial system. Yeah. So the financial system actually consists of institutions in the economy that help to match household saving with firm investment. So it moves the economic scarce resources from savers to investors. So saving and investment is activities. Yeah, activities of saving, activities of investment. But these activities needs institutions in order to connect between the saving and investment. So the institution that can connect both of them called the financial systems. So the financial system basically facilitate to link and match between the saving and investment in the economy. Okay, anybody can hear me? Why you are so quiet? Are you sleepy all there? Rian, are you there, Rian?
Yes, sir.
Could you show your face, Rian? Long time I didn't see your face. Whether it has been many changes in your face. Rian, are you there, Rian? Oh, Rian, so you have good backgrounds, yeah? Classes. Okay, Rian. Any question, Rian, so far? Or you have any inquiries?
No, sir. Not yet.
Huh? No. Okay, we can continue then. Okay, Rian, could you please read the slide here? The next slide, please.
Financial institutions in the U.S. economy. The
Yeah.
financial system is made up of financial institutions that coordinate the actions of savers and borrowers. Financial institutions can be grouped into two categories: financial markets and financial intermediaries.
Okay. So financial system basically is the umbrella of many financial institutions, including financial markets such as stock markets. So stock markets come into financial markets. And the second one is financial intermediation, such as banks. Yeah, banks is the financial intermediaries. Yeah. Okay, the next one. Could you please read the next slide? Sister Dia Early, I want to see your face, Sister Dia. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please, Sister Dia, could you please read the next slide, continuing what Rian just now?
Financial, ya kan ini kan?
Yes, right. Yes, continue, please.
Financial institution in the U.S. economy. Financial market are the institution through which saver can directly provide funds to borrowers.
To borrowers, yeah.
Borrowers.
Right.
Financial intermediaries are financial institutions through which saver can indirectly provide funds to borrowers.
Okay, very simple understanding. You can see the difference between banks and stock markets. In stock market, you can purchase directly the stocks from the company. Yeah, so the company will get your funds directly from you. Yeah, so therefore the stock market under financial markets. But differently in banks, if somebody needs a fund, they must go to the banks, and the bank gets money from you as a savers. So bank here intermediates between the savers and the borrowers, or they intermediate indirectly, because you will get the fund from the savers through the banks. Differently, in stock market, you can get the money as companies from the savers directly through transaction of the stocks. So this is the difference, Rian and friends. The next one, we continue, please. Here just the examples I just mentioned just now: stock markets, financial market, and bond markets, and banks and mutual funds. Yeah, so this is the examples. The next one here, we have financial markets, we have bond markets. So bond market actually is a debt certificate that are traded. So if I have a debt, yeah, to Rian, yeah, so Rian will release a certificate of my debt of my debt. That Dimas has debt to Rian for $100. So Rian will release a certificate to record my debt. So the certificate that Rian released is traded to other people. So these activities, yeah, in the context of financial markets, can be under bond market. Yeah. So bond market is certificate of indebtedness that specifies obligation of the borrowers to the holder of the fund of the bond. The sale of the bond to raise money is called debt financing. So debt financing, yeah, here is to get money through the selling of bonds. Bonds is obligations. Yeah, obligation, hutang. Yeah. Next one here we have bond market. Again, you can just read by your own. Yeah, they have terms. Yeah, how many years, how many months. Yeah, and we have credit risk. To what extent the borrowers can fulfill the financial obligations. Yeah, and tax treatment. To what extent, how much the tax will be imposed for the debt certificates holders. Yeah, this is another issue. And stock market here, could you please read here? I want to call you upon Brother Adi Sena. Please, Adi Sena. Financial market, please. Yes.
The stock market. Stock represents a claim to partial ownership in a firm and is therefore a claim to the profit that the firm makes. The sale of stock to raise money is called equity financing. Compared to bonds, stock offer both higher risk and potentially higher returns.
Okay. The stock markets actually is the trading of the stocks. Stocks means the certificate of ownership of a particular company. So if a company has been open, to the public, so they will have the stock, Adisena, and the stock will be sold to the public by offering public stock. Yeah, and everybody here can buy the stock, and by buying the stock, indirectly or directly, you give the money back to the companies. Yeah, so the company basically sell the stock to you in order to raise money. They want to increase the capital in order to enhance more the capacity of the companies, called equity financing. Yeah. Next one here, the stock market examples. Yeah, you can, in Indonesia we have IHSG, Indeks Harga Saham Gabungan. In Indonesia we have it. But in the global market, we have so many stocks, New York, yeah, American Stock Exchange, and others. You can just look for in your reference. And here is some factors that influence the price of or the demand of the stocks. We have price, volume, dividend, price earning ratio. Yeah, those things are the indicators to what extent you intended to demand the stocks. Yeah, in terms of what? Price, volume, or others. Yeah. The next one here we have financial intermediation here through banks, yeah, fundamental fund and others. I think you have understood. Bank here. I want to hear the voice from you. I would call you upon Brother Abdul. Abdul, are you there?
Yes, sir.
How was the meeting with the BMT yesterday, Abdul? You have not reported me. Is it okay?
Deadlines. They called me come today morning, and I went, and they said also I will call you back. Took my number, my phone
Okay.
number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then. Hopefully they will help you to settle your existing challenge. Okay, Abdul, could you please just read this slide about banks, please?
Yeah. Banks take deposit from people who want to save and use the deposits, make loans to people who want to grow. The depositors invest interest on their deposit and change borrowers slightly higher interest on their loans.
Okay. You see, interest is bunga, yeah, bunga. The additional fee that you will get because of you are saving your money in the banks. So under conventional banks, the interest is low under conventional banks. Yeah. So you save your money 100, and you will get back your money 150. The 50 here is the interest because you have deposited your fund in the bank. But differently in Islamic banks strictly prohibits the interest because the interest seems inhumans, yeah, because the bank will get the money out of nothing. So you just sitting in the chair, the bank just sitting in the chair and waiting for your payment with interest without taking any contributions. But in Islamic banks, no interest, but replaced by profit rate. The same rate, but different principles. Yeah, in Islamic banks, the rate is because of the profit obtained by the borrowers, and the profit that they get will be shared between and among the parties, including banks. So the bank will get also the money from the borrowers because bank conducting some contributions in the businesses that conducted by the differently with the conventional banks. Yeah. It is just the introduction. You will get the details on that practice and theory in the next semester. Any questions so far, sisters? Before we continue, please. Okay, I can continue then. Okay, next one about the banks. So banks help create money by allowing people to write checks against their deposit. So the bank here provides some financial instrument such as demand deposit, saving deposit, yeah, and also the time deposit, yeah, giro, tabungan, and deposito, yeah. This facilitates the purchase of goods and services. So those saving that you're conducting through banks will be used by the bank to finance the borrowers. And the borrowers, ultimately, they will use the money to purchase goods and services. Yeah. And we have mutual funds. Yeah, I will not read the details. Yeah, maybe will be discussed next semester. And here is another financial intermediaries such as credit union, pension fund, insurance, loan shark. Yeah, loan shark here is the institution that not commonly used because the interest is very high. I will discuss with this institution next semester. Yeah, next semester. Okay, we next to the saving and investment in the national income account. saving and investment in the national income accounts. Okay, did you remember this one? Recall that GDP is both total income on economy and total expenditures on the economy's output of goods and services. And here, based on the expenditure approach, we have Y equal to C plus I plus G plus NX. Income equal consumption, investment, government spending, and net export. Yeah. And some important identities. In this chapter, we assume a closed economy. So one that does not engage in international trade. So we only just have consumption, investment, and government spending, not trading. Yeah. In such an economy, net export is zero. Therefore, we only have equation Y equal to C plus I plus G only. Yeah. So if you want to know how much the investment needed, then you just take some simple calculation equal to Y minus C minus G. So from this simple formula, sisters and brothers, you can imagine that the level of investment in a country depends on to what extent the national the national income or the income of citizens in the country. If the country has huge income, of course, they will have huge investment by assuming that the consumption and government spending is not that high, that is not that much high. They just slow or small. Or maybe you have the tradition to save money, look like in Japan. So in Japan, by the way, the people there is likely to save the money compared to the consumptions. So they have huge income, but they have less consumption. So ultimately, the government spending will not be that much, and ultimately the investment will be higher. Therefore, in the case of global economy, Japan is one of the countries that contribute much in giving debt to many countries, either unilateral or multilateral, because of they have huge number of saving. Yeah. So now here we do assume that saving equals to investment. So what does it mean? It means the number of saving that country has will be invested, will be used to investment. So if you have saving 100, it will be used to investment 100. Yeah. So the saving of household ends up loaned to businesses who then spend the borrowed money. So if you have a huge number of saving, so you will have capability or opportunity to lend money to another persons. And if you give loan to another person, it means that you improve and increase his or her purchasing power or consumptions. So if the consumption of these people increases, it means that the national income in general will be increasing, because the demand of the good that you have actually is the supply of the company that you do. Yeah. Because the demand of you is the supply of the company. If the demand increases, supply will be increases. Yeah, and it happens continuously. And here is just a simple equation, sisters. National saving is private saving plus public saving. So we have two kinds of saving, private and public. Public mean governments. Private mean individuals. Yeah. So the government's net tax revenues are denoted T. Yeah. Tax revenues minus transfer payment. Yeah. Y minus T is total after tax income or disposable income. So the public saving here basically is the difference between the government revenues and the the tax minus government spending. Yeah, so public saving is the difference between the tax or government revenues minus the government spending. Private saving is the difference between your saving and your consumptions. Yeah, you can see now the difference. So here is the equation. S actually is the S of saving, private and public saving. And the next one, we go to the next one. Yeah, here is the graphs, yeah, of the national saving in the US. The national is the blue line. Yeah, the red one is the private, and the government is the yellow one. Yeah, you can see the fluctuation over there. Yeah, if the saving of the private and government decrease, so it will make the decrease of the national saving. So your saving, my saving, and all saving here will influence the level of saving in the country aggregately. And here is the meaning of saving and investment. Yeah. Okay, we can just read slowly. Budget surplus and budget deficit. Yeah, budget surplus and budget deficit. If T means tax, T means tax, G is government spending. The government runs a budget surplus because it receives more money than it spends. So T minus G represent public saving. Yeah. If G larger than T, the government runs a budget deficit because it spends more money than it receives in tax revenues. Yeah. So if your country right now runs for a budget deficit, Indonesia, it does mean that we have more government spending compared to the tax. Moreover, in the midst of pandemic right now, the government has lower level of income, so the tax will be lower, but the spending does not decrease, but seems to be increasing because so many subsidy given. So the budget deficit for sure will be happens. And we go to the market for rollable funds. You see, sisters and brothers, majority of the country around the globe, they run for budget deficit. Some maybe small numbers of countries around the globe, they have surplus budget. Majority we have deficit. So what is the strategy then to fill up the gaps? So the deficit can be backed up by other sources. Yeah, there are some strategies. One of the strategy is through the market for rollable funds. Jadi pasar uang. Yeah, so the government can borrow the money from money markets. How it runs? Here, for the economy as a whole, desired saving must be equal to the desired investment. We do agree on this. So if you want to have a level of investment, you have to have a certain level of saving. This is achieved in the market for loanable funds. Yeah. So you have seen how the buyers' desired quantity of ice cream is made equal to the seller's desired quantity of ice cream in the ice cream markets. So you have to equate between the demand and supply, saving and investment. Similar processes in the market for loanable funds make desired saving equal to desired investment. So if the saving is larger compared to investment, yeah, so the market for renewable funds will adjust it, will make adjustment. So in the end, the saving and investment will be equalized, yeah. And the market for renewable funds in the market in which the supply of loan comes from the household with saving. You see, the supply of loan in the market coming from the household, but the household that have proper savings. And the demand for loans come from business and household that wish to spend for investment. Yeah. The price of loan reaches an equilibrium at which the supply of loan become equal to demand for loans. So from this statement, sisters and brothers, you see that the saving and investment in the economy is not balanced. It always has an equal position, whether saving is higher or investment is higher. So the market of renewable funds will adjust this position to be in the same and balanced equilibriums. Yeah, and here financial market work much like other market in the economy. So the equilibrium of the supply and demand for renewable fund determines the real interest rate. So the interest rate basically come out because of the unbalanced position between the demand and supply in the renewable markets. So why renewable market occurs? Because of unbalance between saving and investment. So if the saving investment balance, no issue about the renewable funds, no issue about the renewable fund in the markets. But because of imbalance, it happens, and the equilibrium determines the interest rate, the price of the money interest rate. So the interest rate here is the price of a loan. Again, I mentioned. So interest rate is the price of the loan. For what? For equalize or equilibrium the saving and investment. So it represents the amount that borrowers to take a loan and the amount that lenders receive to make loan. You see interest rate? So interest rate is to what extent you prefer to save your money in the bank, and to what extent the borrowers eager to take loan from the banks. Yeah. More precisely, the price of a loan is the real interest rate. So real interest rate here is the inflation adjusted interest rate. So real interest rate is the interest rate that has been adjusted by inflation. So the real interest rate is the price of loan because of you take a loan or borrow from a bank for productive activities. Yeah. So the real interest rate here actually is the nominal interest rate minus inflation. I think you remember when you learned about inflation rate last time. So real interest rate is nominal interest rate minus inflation rate. Nominal means the price of money. Inflation is the fluctuation of the money of the price. Yeah. So real interest rate means is the price of a loan itself, not the price of money, but the price of loan. Loan and money is different. Money is the money, but loan is the instrument how to convert the money into goods and services. Yeah. The figures, yeah. So the vertical line denotes for real interest rate, and the horizontal line here represent the loanable funds. So you have here the equilibrium, supply and demands. Yeah, you have here equilibrium. So 5% here actually in the interest rate that balance between the supply of money and the demand for money. And the equilibrium here will also has the quantity, namely 100, 1,000, and 200. Okay, the next one, okay, next one is here, the last one, last slide. So here is the first conditions, A. So you have the condition of equilibrium between demand and supply, but quickly the supply here move to the right. So the supply move to the right mean the supply of loanable funds in the market has increased. So the number of saving in economy increases. So it will move to the right. The move here is the demand side, sorry, not the supply side. So the movement here coming from the demand side. It means that the investment of the economy increases. If the investment increases, it moves to the right, yeah, and it makes the loanable fund here increases, and the real interest rate also increases. Why real interest rate increases? Because the demand for money, demand for fund increases. Yeah, but the stock does not change. So the stock remains the same, but the demand is higher. So the price will be higher. So the next one, the B here, the way around, the demand left to the left, move to the left. Yeah. So it means that the demand for the loan fund decreases, the investment decreases. So if the investment decreases, what the impact? The number of loanable fund decreases. Yeah, here decreases, and the real interest rate decreases. You can see the intersection point between demand and supply, the equilibrium part, yeah, decreasing here. And the C here, the condition is the supply side move to the right, yeah. The supply side move to the right. It means that the saving account numbers increases, yeah. So what happens then? The number of loanable fund increases, but the interest rate decreases. Why interest rate decreases? Because the stock of saving much more, but demand does not change. Yeah, so the price will decrease. And the D here, the way around, the saving is moved to the left. So the saving is lacking. Yeah. So the impact is the number of loanable fund decreases and interest rate increases. So from this graphs and figures, you can imagine now that basically the saving and investment in economy is not stable. Somehow the saving increases more than the investment and vice versa. So to fill up the gaps, the market loan, the loan for market, yeah, is excess, so that it can fill up the gaps. So the economy will always be in the equilibrium position. Yeah. So this is the essence of the loanable funds. They want to ensure saving and investment in the balanced position. Okay, dear sisters and brothers, this is for the first part. And for the effect of government policies on the saving and investment will continue next week. Perhaps you have any questions or you have some comments. Please, most welcome. Any discussion, or you have any inquiry, comment, and feedbacks?
Sir,
Yes, please, Ruha.
mau nanya.
Yes, carry on.
Tadi kan Bapaknya bilang di slide PowerPoint yang 26 itu ada yang ini apa? The government has a budget surplus because it receives more money than it spends.
Yeah.
So my question is, if in a country receive and saves a lot of money, whether that country can be deficit due to other costs or certainly a surplus.
So, what is your point? What is your questions in short?
Gimana ya? Jadi kalau dalam sebuah negara itu dia kan misalnya udah menerima dan menyimpan banyak uang, apakah negara itu bisa defisit karena penyebab lain, atau itu kalau dia udah menyimpan banyak uang itu dia pasti surplus?
Okay, so if a country has huge number of saving, does it mean that this country has possibility to be deficit? In the next period of times. So the answer is the situation in a country is changing, is dynamic. Somehow we have in the good conditions, somehow we are in the bad conditions. Or somehow we are in normal and abnormal situations. So if a country has the surplus budget, so it means that this country has successfully managed the level of saving, and also has good managerial in utilizing the saving into investment. So if a country has the budget surplus, it does mean a country has a huge and good capability in saving and investment. But taking assumptions that the economy is changing, somehow the economy is up and down. In the condition of down or depressions or recessions, the income will be slowing down. So the slowing down of the income will diminishing the level of saving that everybody has. So the people will gradually take the money from the banks. It means that the saving account will gradually decrease. So this condition will make the country that initially positive or surplus will be deficit. So the answer is it could be because of the global economy or the external environments. This is the answer, Nuha.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, most welcome. Any other questions or response, please? Any questions? Enough? Clear? Madiba, are you there? You have any question, Madiba? Brother Abdul, maybe you have any questions so far? Or clear?
No, sir, I'm clear.
Okay, if you don't have any other questions, then I just want to end these sessions, by thanking all of you, So please do read the book, Yeah, inshallah, IPF program right now is trying to arrange the textbook for you. Yeah, hopefully you will be in Jogja as soon as possible, so we can hand over the book, the textbook, hard copy, to all of you. So now we are in the process of purchasing the book, the textbooks, and the information is for 2020. Please go through the my class that I have uploaded in the group, so that my class will assist you to encourage in achieving the academic competitions, and all the information will be provided through the my class. If you have some programs, delegations, and others, please just upload all documents in my class and we try to help you. And the last one, I do remind you to proceed the passport as soon as possible, even though you are still in the first year. Hopefully it will help you to prepare yourself to face challenges for exchange program or international mobility program next year. So please do proceed. If you need some assistance, please contact our staffs. And hopefully by the end of this semester, you will have already had your passport. And the last one, IPF program organizes so many international guest lecturer as uploaded in the groups. So if you have time, please just join the class. So you will have international exposure dealing with the international staff. And the last one, my humble suggestion is please keep up your spirit. Please always motivate yourself to be consistently learn and study through our programs. Inshallah, if you're consistent, you will get benefits and you will get unpredictable gift maybe in the future, including languages, experiences, networks, and others. Okay, that's all, dear sisters and brothers. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And we will see you again next week with the next chapter. And please always keep your health and condition over there. I end this session with Hamdalah, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. See you next week. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, please.